Vzala jsem si Tomáše. I took Tomáš for myself.
Yes.
Makes sense.
Yeah, no, it does.
So, hi everyone, welcome to another video about Czech cases. Today we will speak about the dative. And I have a guest here today, my dear friend Jen, which you probably know from her channel Dream Prague. So welcome, Jen.
Oh, thank you. Ahoy.
Jen is so nice that she's helping me to discover what's behind these crazy Czech cases.
You're helping me discover.
We are doing it together and we're trying to find the logic or the meaning behind Czech cases. When I say the dative case, what's the first thing that crosses your mind?
Well, it's the indirect object. So in a very simple sentence, like, I give a book to Eliška, you would be in the dative case. Elišce.
Right.
So, dám knihu, which is in the accusative case, Elišce. Because that's who I'm giving it to.
Great. In the video about the accusative case, we spoke about the direct object. That's the thing that's directly affected by my action or your action. So you give, and the energy of the verb goes to the book. So it's directly affected by your action.
Yes.
And then I am effective indirectly through the book.
Exactly.
But like the main idea, as you can remember it, is the receiver in the situation. So if somebody is giving something to someone, the receiver at the end of this chain is the dative case.
Yes. And there's one expression that is you need to know immediately when you come to Czech Republic. And it's how they order differently than we order food. And it uses this it's dám si kávu, dám si jídlo, dám si vepřové.
Great. What does it mean when you say dám si kávu?
It means I give myself something. Which is not how we say it in English. So it's good to start thinking like in the way that Czechs say it.
Yeah, that's a great example, very useful. So the little si is used in the sense of to oneself, to myself, to yourself. Great. You can remember that the dative case is closely connected to the verb to give.
Sure.
Dávat, dát in Czech, because then if you give something, there's always a receiver at the end who receives the thing or the thing, and that's the dative case. But there are several other verbs that are like to give, but not exactly.
Yes.
That also use the dative case. Do you have an idea?
Let's see. To lend. What is that? Pojďte? Or
Půjčit.
Půjčit. So půjčit knihu Elišce.
Great. So půjčit knihu Elišce, who's the dative case here?
You are, because you are the receiver. So Eliška becomes Elišce.
Great.
So to lend. Also to buy. Like to buy a gift. Would I say koupila jsem dárek Johnovi?
Great.
So John is he is the dative case, so he's been declined to Johnovi.
Great. He receives the gift.
Okay, so it's similar to give. It's this concept of who are we giving it to? That person is in the dative case.
Great.
Okay, so this is a good concept we're working with.
So the concept of giving expressed by other verbs. And then again, we can use the little reflexive pronoun si, which means for myself, for oneself. So I can say, koupila jsem si džíny.
I bought myself jeans.
So I bought it, but I am the receiver as well. So koupila jsem si džíny.
Okay.
So Jen, we spoke about the little si, meaning for oneself.
Yes.
It also can be used in another example, in another situation or context. In a sentence, píšeme si maily.
We write each other emails?
So it can also mean each other.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, or voláme si.
Voláme si emaily.
Voláme si.
Or no, voláme si to call each other, yeah.
Voláme si.
Okay.
Yeah, we call each other. There is one last thing about the little si, or we will keep speaking about it throughout the whole video, but at this moment I would like to mention one more example, which is a sentence, Eliška si vzala Tomáše.
Eliška married Tomáš.
So, Jen, can you break down the sentence? Eliška si vzala Tomáše.
Eliška for herself took Tomáš.
So I took him for myself. He's mine.
Yeah.
Maybe just to be clear, in the sentence Eliška si vzala Tomáše, where is the nominative, where is the dative, and where is the accusative?
Eliška is the nominative. She's the subject. Si is in the dative because she's giving something. We don't know what yet. She's giving something to herself. Vzala, took, and then the object, the direct object that she took for herself is Tomáš.
Yeah, very well
so
explained.
That's the accusative.
Thank you.
It's like an old-fashioned way of like, do you take this woman? We say it in English during the vows. Do you take this woman? So it makes sense. It just sounds a little funny.
Yeah. So we spoke about the dative case in the combination with accusative. So the accusative is a direct object. Jen gives the book to Eliška, and Eliška is the indirect object in the dative case. Now we can use the dative case in another sentence, but there is no direct object involved. Jen blahopřeje Elišce k narozeninám.
So Jen is the nominative. I'm the subject. Blahopřeje?
Gratuluje.
But am I saying it right? Blahopřeje?
Blahopřeje.
Blahopřeje. That is to give congratulations. And then Elišce is the one in the dative. So I'm giving congratulations to you. But what's interesting, like you said, there's no direct object because congratulations is like part of the verb. It's almost like just I congratulate you.
Exactly. Jen congratulates Eliška. So you can think about the verb as a way of saying she gives congratulations to me. So again, there is the like the idea of she gives something to me, but the something is implied.
Yes, because it's just part of the verb.
There is another verb, děkovat. Jen děkuje Elišce.
So again, Jen, the subject, děkuje, to give thanks to Eliška. So the thanks, the object, the direct object, is already part of the verb. So it's we're giving it to you. So Eliška becomes Elišce.
And I'm receiver of your thanks.
Exactly.
And I'm the indirect object. I'm in the dative case.
Okay.
How would you say it in English? Jen děkuje Elišce.
We could say Jen gave thanks to Eliška.
Okay, so you can say it in English.
We can say it.
Okay.
Or Jen thanks Eliška. Just thanks. Like Jen gives congratulations to Eliška.
Okay.
Jen congratulates.
That's interesting. So in Czech you can't say it like this. You have to involve everything in the verb.
Yes. Interesting.
There is another one very specific to Czech and very useful. Two verbs, vykat and tykat.
Vykat and tykat. And these are like to speak in the formal form or in the informal form.
Saying vy or saying ty.
Exactly.
Someone.
And so when we use this, the person we speak, we do this verb to would be in the dative. So, vykej babičce. And does that mean like speak in the vykat to your grandmother?
Yeah. Speak to your grandmother using vykání.
Vykání. Okay. Good.
Or when you speak formally with someone, but then you want to change to tykání, you can say.
Můžeme say tykat?
Can we say ty to each other? So again, the little si here means reciprocity, that we do it to each other. So we both are receivers, and it's expressed in the little si.
Okay, good. I just memorize it with the C, but I didn't really know why it was there. That's great. Okay.
Yeah. So you can use the concept of receiving something in abstract situations as well.
Okay.
There is an expression zdá se mi. Zdá se mi, že máš problémy.
It seems to me you have a problem. Okay. So zdá se mi. Me is in the dative. So what about this se? Is this part of the dative, or why is that there?
This is a little confusing. You can remember that the se is part of the verb. So when you look it up in the dictionary, how do I say it seems or to seem, you will find zdát se. So you take the whole verb and you conjugate it. And then me is the dative case.
Okay.
So it literally means it seems to me. So it is the nominative.
Yes.
And me is the dative. I'm the receiver.
Yes. Yes.
And it actually, you can translate it to English. It seems to me. This
exactly.
is very clear. There's a very clear connection.
Yes. And in all of these examples we've been giving, if you think to me, or to Eliška, or to John, it's going to be dative.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
That's very helpful.
Okay.
We said that the dative is closely connected with the verb to give, right? I give something and the receiver is the dative case.
Yes.
Now, we can also use it with the exact opposite, with the verb to take.
Okay.
So if we say, Jen dá knihu Elišce, I am the receiver. But if we take, Jen vezme knihu Elišce, so she takes it away from Eliška, I am still the dative case.
Oh, it's so interesting.
To give, to take.
So we really have to think about whenever we're talking about moving something, giving something, whoever is not the main actor is the indirect object, and that would be dative. Okay, that's a little bit of a different concept, I think, for English speakers.
Now, Jen, when I tell you the expression chutná mi maso, can you break it down again? Where's the...
Oh, this is so interesting. So this means I like meat, but like I like the taste of meat. So meat, maso, is actually the nominative. And then chutná is the verb. So it's almost like meat tastes good to whom? To me.
And I'm the receiver.
Chutná mi maso.
Exactly, yeah. So we can say you are receiving some kind of an experience. You experience something. It can be pleasant or unpleasant. But in both ways, you are the dative case.
And also the phrase libi se mi. Libice. We always use that with the dative.
What does it mean?
It means I like. It's fairly general. It's kind of like I like the look of, or I like the appearance of.
Exactly. It's used for something that you see or hear, and yeah, as you said, you like the appearance. So I can say líbí se mi Praha.
I like Prague. Not the taste of Prague. I like Prague, but chutná mi maso.
So in the expression líbí se mi Praha, it literally means Prague is appealing to me. Something like this. It
pleases me, yeah.
So again, líbí se mi Praha, mi is the dative case. And there is one more expression which you like. I know you like it because you spoke about it in your videos.
I did. Mám ráda.
Je mi to jedno.
Je mi to jedno. This is funny. This means, literally, it means it is to me one. But it means, like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference.
Yeah, I don't have a preference.
I don't have a preference. So, is, je mi, is to me it one. Is to me it one.
Je mi to jedno.
Je mi to jedno.
Before we continue, let me ask you something. Have you been learning Czech for some time already, but you still struggle to use it? Are you afraid of speaking? Have you been introduced to all the grammar, but you're unable to use it in conversation? Or maybe, as one of my clients recently said, do you feel like a baby when you speak Czech? If you answered yes, then you might be interested in my program Study Like a Pro. In 30 days, I show you how to learn Czech so that you finally start using it in real life. The link is in the description and I will see you inside. Now, Jen, there is one really cute thing about Czech verbs.
Cute!
And the dative case.
Okay.
There's a bunch of verbs that can be used in a neutral form. So, for example, lyžovat, to ski.
To ski.
So I can say jedu lyžovat.
I'm going skiing.
But I can add a prefix za and a little reflexive si. And this changes the mood of the verb and the sentence, meaning I'm excited about it and I really enjoy doing it.
So if I say jdu si zalyžovat, that's like I'm going skiing.
Because again, the little si means like I do it for myself. I enjoy it. It's my thing. I receive the experience.
Yes. So while an American would express this with their emotions, a Czech would just say it like this, but they would add si zalyžovat, and that's them getting excited. Okay.
Yeah. Are you making fun of us?
So that's just something completely different, but it's a way to use the dative. Okay, good.
Yeah, it's like a little bonus.
Okay. Good.
This concept of using the dative case when you do something for yourself, something you enjoy or that brings you pleasure or where you receive some positive experience can be used with other verbs. I will tell you 2 sentences. Včera jsem četla. Včera jsem četla knihu.
Yesterday I read a book.
And včera jsem si četla.
Yesterday I read a book to myself. Interesting. So maybe when you're talking about reading a book to yourself, it's a little bit more like relaxation. Rather than I read a book, the point is not the activity, the point is like, well, what was in the book? Like that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, or maybe there is no emotion, is not explained. Whether
just
it was
what you
done
did.
for work, you just did it.
Okay.
But if you say četla jsem si,
I did it to myself.
experience.
This is making so many things clear because sometimes I would see a C there with a verb like číst, and I would I wouldn't understand why it was there, why it was necessary. But you're telling me it's this more relaxing version of the verb. Cool.
There are more meanings of the reflexive se and se also. I wouldn't dig deep now because it's a complex topic, but
Okay.
one of the situations is doing it for yourself because you like it, you enjoy it.
Great. Okay, good to know.
The dative case seems to be a very pleasant experience.
Oh yes, relaxing to myself, reading to myself, yeah.
We can also use it to express the receiver of a negative experience.
That makes sense.
So there's a sentence, Jen vyhrožuje Elišce.
That sounds vyhrožuje.
Vyhrožuje, I will kill you.
Okay. And so Elišce, you're the receiver of that action. So you would be the indirect object and Elišce in dative.
So Jen is threatening Eliška. And I'm receiving the negative experience.
You're the receiver. It's logical with the rest of this, yeah.
Or you can say vadí mi.
To bother?
Vadí mi hlasitá hudba.
Loud music bothers me.
So again, I receive the negative experience.
Yes.
Me is the dative case. Vadí mi.
And it's, in English, you can almost say like, the loud music is bothering to me. We don't say it exactly that way, but that's the concept. It does this thing to me.
In English, when you speak about body parts, you usually use possessive pronouns like my, your. So you can say, I cut my nail, right?
Yes. Cut my own nails.
Do you know how we say this in Czech?
Would you use strihat?
Stříhat.
Strihat. Strihat si nechty. So I cut my own nails.
Great.
If I were to cut your nails, I would say strihat nebo striham Elišce nechty. Because, and I'd get rid of the C because it's not my own, it's your nails, you're in the dative.
Right. So again, I receive Jen's care. I receive this experience of cutting my nails, so I'm the dative case. We can say Jen si zlomila ruku.
I broke my hand, my arm.
If I say Jen zlomila její ruku,
it could be that I broke her arm. But you want to make it clear that I broke my own arm.
Yeah, and she suffered and she was receiving the horrible experience.
Yes.
So if you use the reflexive si, it really means like it was horrible, it was mine, I experienced this event.
Okay.
If we say Jen zlomila její ruku, it's somehow like it's not my body, it's not my hand.
Okay, so this is definitely an example of how it's different in English.
Yeah. Now, it seems to me that
Zdá se mi.
that in English you often are more active than us in Czech. Let me give you an example. Okay. In English you say I am 20 years old, but in Czech how would you say it?
Je mi 20.
So in English, you are the active person. You say, I am 20 years old.
Yes.
But in Czech?
It's, it is to me 20.
So again, it's completely turned around. So it's like if the age is happening to me.
I like that. Because in another example of this is like emotions. Like, je mi smutno.
Je mi smutno, I feel depressed.
Nebo je mi špatně.
I feel
bad. Yeah, but it's these things that are, it's not about me as a person. It's like things that are happening to me. And age is like not my problem. It's happening to me. It didn't come from inside. It's happening to me.
Yeah, definitely.
It's just a different way of thinking.
Yeah, it makes sense to me as well.
Yes.
I'm getting confused with the dative.
Right.
So we Czech sometimes like wait for the world to happen to us. And we receive all of these actions and we are the receivers of them.
Right. And maybe English speakers put themselves at as the actors. Like they have some control over these things, maybe. I don't know.
Now, Jen, we spoke about the concept of giving and taking and receiving, and the dative as a receiver. Now, I have a little different concept for you. Let's imagine that there are two people, Jennifer and Eliška. You are the nominative and I am the dative, and we are kind of equal. So we can say Jen je podobná Elišce.
Jen appears similar to Eliška.
Yeah.
So there's no higher ranking there.
They are both on the same level.
Okay.
Yeah. So again, Elišce is the dative case. But there are verbs that express a superior status, maybe. So the dative case is more important or in charge.
Okay.
So, for example, Jen závidí Elišce.
I'm jealous of, I'm envious of Eliška. Okay. So with závidí, we would use this verb, and the person we're envious of would be in the dative.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. I can see the difference of status.
Vděčit, to be indebted. Jen vděčí Elišce.
Oh, that's an obvious one. So you are in the dative because like you have a higher position in this relationship of this sentence.
And now we can take the concept and speak about the preposition that's very frequently used with the dative case. Do you know which one is it?
I always think k.
The preposition k needs the dative. So when we say jdu k doktorovi, can you break it down? Why do we use the preposition in the first place?
Okay. We're going to the doctor. And we learned in genitive that usually we use do. Sometimes we use na when going to something. But when we're going to a person, like k babičce, k doktorovi, when we're going to a person, we use k and dative.
Great. And can you see the idea of like being superior in there?
Sure. The person is staying where they are. We're going to them. So they're in a higher position.
So Jen, there are two more prepositions used with the dative case. Do you know which ones?
DÍKY and KVÚLI.
Yeah.
So DÍKY is like thanks to something. And KVÚLI, we would say in English like due to this. In general, DÍKY is like in a positive way and KVÚLI is a negative.
Yeah. But I would say that both of them again involve this idea of one person being superior over the
reason
next
for
one.
something.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if I say Jen má problémy kvůli Elišce, do you see there?
So Jen has a problem due to Eliška or because of Eliška. So you are again independent, but yet you are causing my problem. So you are a little bit higher in a position than I am.
But on the contrary, Jen speaks Czech thanks to Eliška.
Jen mluví česky, díky Elišce. Yes, and then again, she's my teacher, so she's at a higher level, and thanks to her, I speak Czech. So it's the same thing. The person in the dative is sort of the higher position. Yeah. So interesting. I never thought of emotions with dative. trying to like bring out emotions.
And inspect with emotions.
Yeah. Okay.
Emotions.
That's good.
Okay, Jen,
Awesome.
that's it for the dative. Do you have any questions or comments before we finish?
No, I think this is really opened my mind to the dative. And also why we have all these C's in there that I didn't know why they were there.
C's.
I didn't know, I just kind of like ignored them. Now I know why they're there.
Yeah. The C and se, it's a big topic. I will link some videos in the info box made by my friend and teacher ZUZKA. I think she explains this in a really nice way. So if you want to understand it like more in detail when it comes to se and se, you can watch these. Okay, Jen, thank you so much for joining me.
Of course, thank you.
I will see you in the video about the instrumental.
Excellent. Tak. Ahoj.
Ahoj. Ciao.